Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is Monday, and every Monday we have a masterclass on the Constitution with our resident guest, Sir Sidney. I called him Sir today. I just knighted him.
You're the first one. So many people will hear you.
Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson is back in the house today, and he's going to help us to make sense of this thing known as the Constitution of the Bahamas. Help us to make sense of it all, because sometimes things don't seem to be making much sense.
No, they don't. People be confused. And good afternoon, Bahamas. It's good to be here.
Very confused.
Very much so.
So, I was trying to use my earplugs today instead of the headphone, but this ain't working. I get a little echo what I don't get in the headphones, so I come to use the headphones today again. But you know, when you use the headphones, it's mess up your little hairstyle, Professor.
I didn't hear you said.
I said when you use the headphones, you mess up your little hairstyle.
Oh, okay.
I try and keep my little hairstyle, but it ain't working,
right,
so I have to go back to the headphones. All right, welcome back to you, sir. For those of you who are new around here, every Monday we have a masterclass on the Constitution of the Bahamas, and Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, being the expert that he is. As it relates to the Constitution, he's a well-studied constitutional lawyer, and he helps us every Monday to try to make sense of this document that is supposed to be.
What did you say?
Supposed to be.
I may have the next part.
The supreme law of the land.
Oh, it is. Not supposed to be.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
No, that's what the law says. Don't worry about who
Some
you
people,
ask.
some people don't seem to know that, so I gotta say it that way.
No, but we have to correct them. We have to tell them. You will hear a lot of different things being said about the Constitution which are not true.
Mm-hmm.
By persons who are supposed to be educated in law having degrees behind their name, and yet still misrepresenting, giving misinformation, false information, untrue information, unconstitutional information to the Bahamian people and confusing them. Now, I am here to make sure that crap stops.
You setting the record straight.
Yes, ma'am. And I challenge anyone out there, anyone who thinks there's man, anyone who thinks there's woman, come. Challenge Professor Sidney McCarthy.
I had a guest on the show last week, Professor, and he said, some people just as be, and I paraphrasing, and I ain't saying who said. But he said something to the effect that, some people say just keep running on about this Constitution.
Oh, I know that personality.
And I said to myself, Lord, Professor, listen to the show today. He ain't a God.
Oh, I listened and I saw how the questions that I asked were completely dodged because they don't have any answers.
Mm-hmm.
That particular personality, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I won't call the name myself. But the point is, when people do not have constitutional answers or do not understand the Constitution, the only thing they can give you is misinformation. I won't use the other word. I'll just leave that right there.
Yeah.
Misinformation, information that is not constitutionally sound, information that is misleading. And there are too many people out there giving out misleading information at a time where the people waited 50 years. 50 long years for them to wake up to realize we have a supreme law in this country. We have a supreme document which we ought to govern the Commonwealth of the Bahamas with. Not scraps of paper where people write crap and other nonsense and foolishness on it. That will not do. And we see the evidence today, 50 years later, the state of our country, the state of affairs in this nation.
All right. So before we go any further, let me tell our audience how they can become a part of this conversation, because I'm sure we may have one or two questions throughout the course of the show. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 242-801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, you know the drill. Like and share the show. You can also catch us on our YouTube channels. And, of course, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, Channel 974, or you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. Last but by no means least, a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether it's here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, the rest of the Family Islands, and a special welcome to our audience from around the world. Professor, we got a call already.
Oh, that's good.
And we even start yet. Caller, welcome to the show.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Thompson, this is for you. Now, you really have to help me on this today, sir. Now, United States, China, and Africa signed agreement, a referendum that to make our dollar 1 to 55. Now, under our Constitution, that's going to apply to us, or they're going to put that in the Constitution where $1 Chinese dollar going to be $55 to our dollar. So the meaning when we send Chinese dollar, that's going to be $55. So therefore, $3 meat going to be now $300 like a rent. So it may not come. Could you tell me if that's going to be in the Bahamian Constitution, and or they're going to put that in, and or they're going to apply to us or the whole world? Because we all know now, America run under British, just like the Bahamas. We all know that. We're educated.
Well, what that got to do with the Constitution, though?
Okay, I want to know if when that dollar come and play, if that's under us or is that going to be in our constitution or are they going to put it in there?
One has nothing to do with the other.
No?
Professor, go ahead. You answer.
Yeah, answer, Mr. Professor.
Yeah, the only way changes can be made in the Constitution is through a referendum by the Bahamian people. Now, I heard some remarks similar to what you just said about this new currency that's coming up. Really, what happens out there, we don't have any control over that. The Bahamas is a sovereign, independent nation. Now, what we need to do is we need to protect our own interests in terms of what's happening out there. Our leaders have to stand up, or ought to be standing up, for the Bahamian people. We should not allow anyone to just roughshod us into whatever it is they want to do. So it depends on the government of the Bahamas standing up and putting forward their best efforts to protect the interests of the Bahamian people financially. But
Okay.
when it comes to the Constitution,
yes, sir.
it can only be changed by a referendum. The Bahamian people have to make that decision.
Yes, sir. Well, Miss Malcolm, this came around from Freeport.
Yeah.
Miss Malcolm, we got the scoop. Whether you like it or not, Miss Malcolm, we ignorant people got the scoop. You have a good day.
Okay, Kendall Lander from Freeport. I still trying to figure out what one have to do with the next, but anyhow, but it's a valid question. It's just
It's
not
a good question. It's just that sometimes people get mixed up.
and it's a good question for another show. That's my point.
Well, that may be so.
I ain't got nothing to do with the Constitution. And we talking Constitution today.
Well, Constitution is the thing.
But I appreciate you calling.
Yeah.
It's just that that's like comparing apples and oranges at this point. That has nothing to do with the Constitution of the Bahamas. So, we talking about the Constitution today. Now, producers, had a caller for the show. We have another caller. Caller, welcome to GPS. Hello, caller.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I have a question about the constitutionality of a law that says Bahamians are not legally entitled to gamble in the casinos in their countries, but foreigners are.
Professor,
Is that constitutional?
I need you to talk into the microphone, Professor. Yes.
Oh, would you repeat the question, please?
There is a law in the Bahamas that says it's illegal for Bahamians to gamble at Atlantis and Bahama casinos and the Bimini casinos. And it is legal for foreigners to gamble there, but illegal for Bahamians to gamble there. That is discrimination, is it not? And is it unconstitutional, or is it legally right in the statutory law? And does it contradict the Constitution?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is that a statutory law?
It is alleged, that is one. I haven't seen it, but I know it's a practice that you are not allowed by some law that was carried on from Stafford Sands' time and incorporated into our law after independence by Lyndon's government.
Yes.
And it is practiced to this day that it is unconstitutional for Bahamians, or not unconstitutional, illegal for Bahamians to gamble or play a game of chance in the casino, except for the local bear shops.
Okay, but I heard something similar to what you just said. I haven't seen the law. I've heard speculation.
Talk in the microphone.
But it may, if anything that is passed in the House of Assembly, or any policy of the government, because they got these things what they call policy, which is not really a law. It's just that the policy this morning, this afternoon, it changes, or it may persist. And some things persist in this country. For example, the office of Deputy Prime Minister, there's no such thing as no Deputy Prime Minister. But it's been persistent for more than 50 years in this country, and we have done nothing about it. We have not put pressure on the government of the Bahamas for the things that they do that are unconstitutional. Now, with that particular law that or alleged law that you said, or even a practice, it is rather strange to allow foreigners to come into your country to do something that Bahamians cannot do. That just doesn't sit right with me, but it's something that needs to be looked into.
Right, I understand there was some sort of amalgamation between the church and the government to keep the Bahamians out of the casinos because the high-end rich people didn't want to socialize with the peasants of the country during the days of the 60s and the 70s. That was carried on by the existing government after it was born out of discrimination by Stafford Sands and Meyer Lansky and the Bay Street Boys to keep blacks from even working as croupiers in the casinos. It was illegal at that time. Only as cleaners and maids and bartenders. It was illegal at that time. And in 73, I think it was changed to allow Bahamian croupiers become croupiers to work in the casino, and later some to become pit bosses, but very few.
Okay.
But I just wanted you to elaborate on the fact that, in my opinion, it is gross discrimination that has been perpetuated and tolerated by humble people who see themselves in a semi-inferior light that a foreign country than they do.
Let me answer it this way. I take the exception about the Bahamians feeling this inferior. Let me put it this way. I believe these kind of things, and I'm happy that you brought it up, these are the things that the Bahamian people need to be looking into and discussing among themselves. We allow too many things by the government of the Bahamas, even laws that they have passed recently. You will find that those laws are not constitutionally sound. They're discriminatory. And we're going through one right now in this show. One which was passed more than 50 years ago.
Yes.
And they're still using that law, which is not really legally sound, not constitutionally sound. So, this thing about the casinos, I haven't heard the people who work there and persons involved in casino gambling and what have you, even the unions saying anything about it. They've been very silent all these many years. But that doesn't make it right. Even if the church and the government were to come together and come up with some misunderstanding or something they thought in their head at that particular time, that doesn't make it right. But it's the Bahamian people that's going to have to put pressure on the government of the Bahamas, because I can tell you right now, from what I understand and I know, and I can prove it. See, I have to deal with the things that I can prove, that the government of the Bahamas is one of the biggest violators of constitutional law in the country. The government of the Bahamas. So I'm not surprised at what you're saying, but it's just that our people have to wake up and realize what these persons are doing to us today in 2023, September the 11th. This is a day when something famous happened. Mm-hmm. And we have to be aware, because they're not going to tell you. The man doesn't say the man didn't do nothing wrong. The Constitution says he violated the law. So you can't go by what you hear the fellow say. Check the document and see, is he right? Is he wrong? Is he constitutionally sound? Yes or no? See, when I look at our situation, I asked two major questions on this show last week sometime, but they were not answered. A particular personality who was high up in the government just bypassed those questions and didn't answer the questions because the person didn't have any answers, could not answer the questions. But that's how they behave.
Professor, I want you to look this way, because the person is actually, if they're watching on Facebook, they're actually watching you through this camera. So even though you're hearing it from over there, they're seeing you over here. So talk into the microphone. Don't worry about looking over there. Look this way and talking to the microphone for me. Okay?
Professor.
Yes, sir.
There's one other discrimination law that exists in the Bahamas, and that is that a foreigner has the right to borrow money from outside of the country and bring it in and have the exemptions and the privileges to be tax-free or under the Hotel Encouragement Act to exercise certain privileges of what they call bonuses or gratuities or exemptions.
Yes.
And Bahamians are not allowed to borrow that same volume of money to go and do major industrial development and tourism or industrial in the industrial sector. And that, as I know it, is also a gross discrimination that has been practiced against us by successive governments. And it is an economic discrimination financially that keeps us economically deprived.
No, I'm not going to disagree with that. We do have such discriminatory practices, and that is why it is important for Bahamians to stand up and fight it.
Yes, sir.
The government of the Bahamas is not going to admit when they do wrong things. They're not going to. You have to find that out for yourself, as I have found out on any number of issues.
Yes, sir.
And you have to challenge them. Are we prepared to challenge the government of the Bahamas? I'm prepared to challenge them.
It's time.
It is high time that we did. 50 years plus has already passed.
Yes, sir.
So we have to challenge those who have been given authority to run our national affairs. They ought to go by the Constitution. And in too many cases, they're not going by the Constitution of the Commonwealth.
Yes, sir.
And so we have a problem. And I hope the Bahamian people will wake up now. Now they're waking up a little bit. And so I am hopeful that they will continue to push and get these things right, which have been over our head for too long.
Thank you. Thank you
very much for your call.
All right. Thank you, guys, for calling. We are going to take a quick break. It's already 2:35. So let's take this break. And then when we come back, we're going to continue our masterclass on the Constitution with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. What we're going to do on the other side of the break is we are going to go back to where we were last week, where, unless of course we get other callers, where we were comparing the Nationality Act to the Constitution of the Bahamas to see where the two meet and where they do not. As Professor continuously points out, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, but yet in many instances, decisions are being made based on what is contained in the Nationality Act. And it's already been proven at the highest court under which the Bahamas is governed, that being the Privy Council, that it is your Constitution that is supposed to be reigning supreme, nothing else. So obviously it pays to know more about what is in your Constitution, and thus this master class. Stay with us. We will be back on the other side of the break with more on the Constitution of the Bahamas with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson.
Global Paradigm Shift will return.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Weston, Lux, fuel, track life, tough, rough racing, velocity, mud, all-terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. Today is Monday, the 11th day of the 9th month. 9/11. That's a big day in history in the United States of America for all the wrong reasons. But anyway, telephone numbers to call if you want to be a part of this masterclass Monday on the Constitution. 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line for messages and calls, 8010271. That's area code 242-801-0271. We're streaming live to our official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages. Please like and share the show. We would appreciate that very much. Also airing live on YouTube on the official channels, and you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. Please download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And of course, by way of radio, can't forget our radio audience, our listening audience. Thank you guys for tuning in, whether you are tuning in from here in New Providence or Grand Bahama, the family of islands. Last but by no means least, those of you tuning in from across the Bahamas, and there are quite a few of you, I'm learning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you all. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, God bless, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm great, JT. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. Good day, Sidney. How you doing today, buddy?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the Bahamas. I'm not a Bahamian who is wealthy. I'm not a Bahamian who is well connected. I'm not a Bahamian who is able to command a tribal following, so to speak. But I am a Bahamian who is interested in and concerned about the welfare and the well-being of my country. The reason I started off like that is to simply ask this question. When might there be, and this is directed to you, Sidney, when might there be any legal action or constitutional action being taken by those of us who care about the Constitution to ensure that the Nationality Act in part or in total is struck down? as unconstitutional. The reason I ask that question, Sidney, is because lately, with the situation that caused Minister Keith Bell allegedly to be derailed as Minister of Immigration, with that Haitian person who he promised to do what he promised to do, etc., etc. And how it brought to light to me how much our Constitution is being assaulted and insulted. So in all the talking that we're doing, in all the studying that we're doing, in all of the exposure of the Constitution to the populace of the country that you're doing, sir, when are we going to now, either in our Supreme Court or to the Privy Council, challenge the unconstitutionality of the Nationality Act? It is obviously unconstitutional. When are we as a people going to act to ensure that that gets struck down and eliminated off of the books? I'll hang up and listen to your response. Thank you.
Well, that is a very good question, JT. I'm happy that you ask it. See, one thing that people need to understand is people are going to be shocked when they come to realize what persons who have been given authority and responsibility in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, people who they trusted, who they had confidence in, has led them down very badly. Action is being taken right now by a group of individuals who are going to challenge the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas on this same Nationality Act. We have hardcore evidence. We believe we have a strong case. We already know the Privy Council has made rulings on this particular issue before, because they went before the Privy Council on 2 occasions and they lost. And they go again with the same foolishness, they lose again. But action is being taken right now. You can call me after the show and I can give you further information on that. Because it's important that the Bahamian people take appropriate action. That is essential and necessary to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Let me just say this. The only document that can save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is your Constitution. Don't mind what you hear these people say and do. If it only go for a brief period, then it will keel over and die. The point is the Constitution is supreme, and it doesn't matter what any particular personality may say, whether they're a cabinet minister or whatever other position they have. What kind of legal degrees they have behind their name means absolutely nothing when it comes to the authority in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. The Constitution is supreme. As long as an administration or a government goes in accordance with the Constitution, our country will be better off. Right now, there's total confusion in this place. All kind of nonsense and foolishness going on. And then people are going to say, the man didn't make no mistake, or he did nothing wrong. When the persons who were given a piece of paper saying they're Bahamian citizens, they could never qualify to be citizens of this country. NEVER, under the present circumstances. One is dead, 3 others are still living. All I'm simply saying is you have to watch what the government of the Bahamas is doing. You hear what they say, you can listen to what they say, but watch what they do. Are they constitutionally sound, yes or no? I hear people grading the government of the Bahamas that are given A, B, C. I grade them 2 ways. 1, what major national problems has the government of the Bahamas solved on behalf of the Bahamian people over the last 50 plus years? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national problems having been solved. And the second question is this: what major constituency problems have been solved through the representative of each particular constituency? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major constituency problems having been solved. And you had a senior personality in the government of the Bahamas. The questions were put out there, and that particular person just dodged the questions, didn't bother to answer them. And that's fine.
Well, in his defense, he's a former senior person within the...
Yes, that's true. I understand all of that. But it just goes to show you what's the behavior of those who were there before and who are there now. Are they constitutionally sound, yes or no? They could not find any clear evidence in the Constitution for what they're doing to the Bahamian people. See Article 6? 50 years. The Attorney General's office has advised the government wrongly. 50 consecutive years of misinformation, of unconstitutionally sound information, which was of no value to the Bahamian people. And the single fathers have suffered. And the single fathers have not even organized themselves. See, this is the weakness of our people. Article 24.1. And even though the Privy Council ruled in their favor, they're still sitting out there as if nothing has happened. We have to dig into that, find out how many fathers, how many of these mothers, and how many of these children have been deprived over 50 years. And what course of action is the government of Bahamas going to take? I haven't heard them say anything in recent times. Look like they're gone quiet on that. But we shouldn't let it go quiet. What steps are they going to take? Because the law was never changed. It is still the same. All the Privy Council told them, follow the law, the supreme law of the land. But they haven't done that yet. We haven't seen anything done publicly. Have they told you? Has something happened that I don't know nothing about? I would be the first one to know. Or someone would certainly call me. Say, Professor, did you hear about this? Not a peep squeak. These are supposed to be people who are advising the government of the Bahamas, the Attorney General's office, with all these trained barristers and QCs and kings, KCs, and all the other titles that they have. See, those things mean nothing to the woman in Baintown who got those 6 boys, you know, or the man in Foxhill who got 5 daughters. They want relief from the problems they're suffering nationally and the problems they're suffering in their particular constituencies. That's what's important to them. Not whether you grade this one an A or a B or a C or a D. That's nonsense and foolishness. When I was asked about the shuffling of the cabinet, I said that meant nothing to me. What did these ministers do while they were there? Did you see them solve any major national problem? I ain't talking about what they tried to do, you know. That means nothing to me. You have the power in your hand to do something to help the people of this country. Have you done it? Yes or no? And what major problems have you solved? What constituency problems have you solved so that the people in those constituencies and the people in the nation are benefiting from the work you would have done if it was ever done?
You know, Professor, honestly, we live in a land of pirates. I know the people tell you, according to history, the pirates were expelled.
Yes.
Listen.
Maybe they're still here.
Them said who was on the high sea get expelled.
Yeah.
All the black bed them. But we got plenty pirates walking around here dressed up in suit.
Yes. I'm not going to disagree with that.
The pirates ain't gone nowhere.
And we know who the pirates are. They can be clearly identified. Some might be hiding behind the wall. But
these fellas, and in some cases ladies, listen, man, if you all hear some of the stories that is happening and has happened in this country, under successive administrations, rape and pillage is a joke.
Yes.
As to what they are doing to this nation.
What they have done and continue
to do.
Yes.
With the blessings of the Bahamian people.
And that is what the Bahamian people need to understand. You have to wake up to see what the government of the Bahamas is doing to us as a nation. All those strange arrangements that they made. We don't know anything about them. We got to find them. And I'll be searching for them with my team. And we're going to examine every single one of them because we are in serious trouble.
We have a call on the line.
In the Bahamas.
Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon to both of you. Really value your constitutional day.
Thank you.
Keep it up. And Michelle, what you probably have to do is get a longer microphone and stick it right in Professor's mouth because he speaks. He drifts back and forth, and that's let him know that is unconstitutional when it comes to radio, okay?
I accept that.
We waiting on him. We waiting on him.
Because that is in the radio constitution. You stay close to the mic, especially if it's a high impedance mic. But anyway, I drift.
Okay, I can understand. Thanks for the correction.
Professor.
Yes, sir.
Listen carefully. If you petitioned the Privy Council with an issue about the citizenship, because I had a former boss, and he had 7 different passports, including one Bahamian.
Yes.
And he travels wherever he wants, and I don't know how he got it, but I understand you're supposed to renounce. But anyway, if the Privy Council rules that what the government is doing is unconstitutional, they don't have to abide by the Privy Council. They could just continue. There's no penalty, Professor.
You stay right there, but they could just continue.
Yeah, because that's the pattern.
Well, let me put it this way. Some things have happened in this country that are not lawful. Are you supposed to go and break open people's businesses for 50 years plus and then say, okay, there's nothing wrong with that? That's what the government has done, has violated the supreme law of the land, which is unlawful. We have to take that very seriously.
Professor, the Privy Council is only tell you that you are in violation and to fix it. But it's just like the IMF. They will tell you you need to tighten up here, tighten up there. But if you don't, they're not going to come and tighten up for you.
No.
They're not going to lock up the whole cabinet. They're just going to advise. Isn't that right, sir?
We got some other people who will lock them up. You ain't got to worry about that part.
Yeah, but I just feel as though...
I understand where you're coming from. It's the Bahamian people that have to do something with a government that violates the Constitution. We have the law on our side. We don't have to be pussyfooting around with them and their nonsense and their foolishness, keep spitting in our face, keep messing up on us. Is that what we're going to accept?
Well, that's why they have made it possible to just continue to give citizenship to those who are uninvolved, who are not going to challenge them. And that's the pattern. So as years go on, we have persons who are just dwindling and dwindling away, and there's going to be no challenge. There's going to be this sporadic petition to the Privy Council. They're going to make a ruling, but no one is going to uprise. I mean, here it is. Just look at America. You got about 90% of them right now who would vote for Donald Trump, even though he's what all them things he is. So it appears as though we like evil over good.
I hear you. Caller, I hear your observations. I don't agree with them.
I know you don't agree, but I can see, you know what, I'm going to join you, but I just don't know if the people are going to join you.
Let me put it this way. My responsibility here is to tell the people the truth. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I trust in God, See, God has a way of dealing with wicked people who feel that they are so powerful and so mighty, and they're just made out of mortal dust. That's all they are.
Sometimes God don't get involved because he gave you the power to deal with it.
What I'm saying is, yes, we have certain powers in our hands
so he ain't getting involved with this.
to deal with things.
You got this wrong God in mind. God coming to deal with this. We can deal with this.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much for your observation. See, this is where I disagree with the caller, because the point is he does not believe in God.
Well, he didn't say that.
No. I know who the person is.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in God. That's his attitude. That's his mindset. But those of us who know there is a creator God, who can help us, who we can call upon, who can assist us out of the dire circumstances we're in, the God who is Jesus Christ and God the Father, we will get direction from them. All we have to do is follow his word. And that's what the Bahamian people need to understand. I don't fear these people who think they're so mighty and so powerful. You're going to see what's going to happen to them. See, he is discounting the document, the supreme law of the land, and thinking that the ruling from the Privy Council means nothing. But that's not true. That's misinformation. See what I say about people who come on the radio and give false information to the Bahamian people, to downgrade them, to keep them in the ground, to keep them weak, that they lose hope. Those are the kind of people you have. And they're the ones who put this crap out there. And some people are buying into this nonsense because they're not prepared to stand up for their rights, their freedoms, their privilege. What if our mothers and fathers didn't stand up? We wouldn't have what we have today. We have to fight for what we get.
This is true.
And the government of the Bahamas today has been violating the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for more than 50 years, since majority rule, and even before majority rule. I'm simply saying that all during our 50 years as an independent nation, the government of the Bahamas has been the biggest violator of constitutional law. That's a fact. I could prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. But they will be dealt with. We're taking them to court. And we're going to deal with them very, very seriously. And we need to get the Bahamian people to understand. See, all you got to do is call me, I always refer to Article 24.1. I tell people, and I've said some points on these shows, people say, well, Professor, what are we supposed to do? I gave indications as to what you can do. Have you done those things? Are you prepared to work? Are you prepared to get to know well your neighbors? Because it's going to take numbers. In fact, there are two ways we can deal with the government. Two main ways. One is through the courts. And we're going to take that route. But there's also another way. And perhaps a third and a fourth way. But the point is, we can't be sitting down with hopelessness like the caller who just called and say, oh, nothing could be done. The people of the Commonwealth of Bahamas has to put the government in their place. And that's the way it's going to be. And God Almighty is going to be on our side.
All right. You heard the man. We have to take a break, though. Professor, half the show done gone and we ain't looking at
yet? Okay.
Half the show done gone. You can believe that, 301. And we even ain't touching that. But listen, you know what? This is telling me something that maybe what we need to do on these shows, even though we have our own agenda in terms of trying to get through this Nationality Act, etc., maybe once a month we need to just let it be an open constitutional masterclass where people call in. I don't know if that would be productive or not, but people call in.
Let me put it this way. I believe, from what I've seen and coming on the show, people have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
All right? People are getting a lot of people out there who are giving them lies, misinformation, deceitful information, which cannot help them.
Okay.
So they're confused. I can understand that. I waited 50 years, Miss Malcolm, to get where I am today. I was very patient. I will be very patient with Bahamian people because I know it is very difficult for them to understand this document called the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Right.
I don't expect them to know it as well as I do. But my job is to get basic, fundamental information to them so they could order their lives. And you'll find the same administration we got. When they want to run for cover, where you think they run? Right to the Constitution. But they are famous for violating the Constitution, the biggest violator of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And they've been doing it for 50 years plus. That's a harsh fact that Bahamians have to wake up to. When I first got to understand, I couldn't believe it.